like we've got everyone. Aaron, if you want to get us rolling here.
That's right. Did I get it? I did get the chair, didn't I?
You're the chair now.
Sucky.
Whoops.
All right. Let me see. We got to start off with our roll call, correct?
Yeah, we're just recording the attendance.
Okay. Everyone looks like everyone's present here. We'll move over to the agenda.
I think we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Came off the BRA board and they don't do it. So,
Oh.
all right. So let's do Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to
To the
flag.
the flag of the United States of America
And
to the republic for which stands
one
nation
under
under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all. All right. Pardon the chaos here. I was racing around to get some stuff done this evening, so grab my agenda. There we go. Okay. All right. Move on to the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will move on to Article 4, the approval of the minutes from the April 13th meeting. Hope you've all had a chance to review them.
Yep.
If so, I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Approve.
I will second.
Motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Let's move on to Article 5, which is acknowledgement of any visitors. Do we have any visitors in the audience that would like to speak?
We do have 2 attendees, neither hand is up.
Okay. With that, we will then move on to Article 6, which is case number 21-3628. Harold, I don't want to butcher this, but Goring.
I believe that's about how you pronounce it. Yeah, so we'll jump into that one. The applicant is requesting a variance for the use of a temporary building during the construction of a detached garage at 6389 Burton. This case was brought to our attention by a neighbor back in March because the temporary building was already in place there. So that time staff informed the property owner that they would need to apply for and receive a variance in order to keep the temporary building on the property. And they've been cooperative throughout the application process for that. So the temporary building is an 8x20, approximately 8x20 shipping container. It's approximately 9 feet tall. That little red rectangle there shows the approximate location of it on the property. Even though this is not a zoning variance, it's something that the Zoning Board of Appeals needs to grant permission for and reviewed through section 4.18, subsection 4 of the zoning ordinance, which is included there in your packets as well. Some language in this section refers to having a water supply and toilet facilities, neither of which are needed with this approval, as this structure will not be used for living space. Both the fire department and building department have reviewed the requests and stated that no additional permits are needed. It should be noted that the building, as it's currently placed, is approximately 8 feet or so in front of the house on the side facing Cascade Point Drive, so on the east side there. So it's technically located in the front yard area since the lot is a corner lot. It has 2 front yards. It looks like there's room for the applicant to shift the building back to the west 8 feet if you would like them to do. Since this is only a temporary building permit and shifting it would not have a major, shifting it only 8 feet would not have a major impact on how it is viewed from the street. I at least don't see this as being a major issue here. The applicant has stated that he is using the container for temporary storage until the garage is built, and that the project has been delayed a number of times due to COVID and the difficulty of finding a contractor. He did state that he currently has bids out in order to start work on the foundation of the garage. We have granted temporary structure permits in the past. However, those have most often been located on commercial sites. It's a little more unique, or either commercial sites or for kind of temporary school rooms for churches. It's a little more unique for one to be on a residential site. In those past cases, we have granted several variances allowing the temporary building or use, provided that the end date was set when the temporary building or use would be terminated. So kind of in following in line with those past requirements, staff is recommending that you approve the variance as requested with the 2 following conditions: that the applicant removes the temporary building upon completion of the detached garage or within 6 months, whichever is sooner. And then I would also suggest that we require that they provide a performance bond or security deposit for the removal of the temporary building if that building has not been removed and the property is not in compliance within 6 months. The amount of the bond or security deposit would be a minimum of $500.
Okay. Would the applicant like to add anything to that?
I think, so I've been in contact with him. He's had to travel for work. He was hoping to find somewhere with internet. He did give me a heads up that he wasn't sure if he'd be able to join. I told him that it's always suggested that they do attend, but it doesn't look like he was able to make it.
Okay.
With that, I move we go into public hearing.
Support. Oops, sorry. Looking for support.
Support.
All right. We have motion and support to move into public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, we will open the public hearing for any comment.
Brian, was there anything from anybody else that came in from the public other than the neighbor?
No, yeah, just that neighbor originally, and I did send him an email letting him know that we're going through this variance application process, but otherwise I did not receive anything.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Excellent.
There's
If
none.
any-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if any member of the public would like to comment, please raise your hand and I will unmute you. We do have 4 in attendance, but there are no raised hands currently.
All right. Appreciate that.
Give him a minute here, maybe just to make sure.
We do have a raised hand.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
There we
Sorry, I'm in a vehicle trying to do this. So I guess I have a question. So if
Just could we get a name and address, please?
sure can, Tom Stolz, that's Stolz, and the address is 6399 Cascade Point Drive.
Okay.
And my question is, in order to, I guess, get approval for a temporary structure, would you first have to get pull a permit for the building that temporary structure is used to house materials for that structure? And do you know if a permit has been pulled for a garage?
Have to ask staff on that, Brian.
No, you wouldn't necessarily have to have the permit ready for the building that will be constructed, I think is what he was asking. For the temporary building, if it was over 200 square feet, he would need a permit for this temporary one. But since it's under 200 feet, it doesn't require a building permit. But no, there doesn't have to be a permit pulled for the building that will be built. But that's why we give him the timeline to come into compliance to ensure that he will be pulling a permit and that it'll be done within 6 months.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the public?
There are no other raised hands.
All right.
I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and support to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We are back to the board.
I have a few questions. Brian, what is the building to the north of the pod? Is it a garage, a current garage?
I'd call it just a shed, not even really quite a garage, but it's an existing shed on the property that I believe the owner's planning to take down once he puts up the new detached garage building.
Okay. Do you know where the new garage is proposed to go?
It's going right about where that existing shed is what he was saying. And we'd
Okay.
of course expect the new building to meet all of our typical zoning requirements.
Okay. Do you know if they've already moved the contents of that existing shed into the pod?
I believe that they have, although I guess I might have to verify that, but it sounded like there's already some tools and things like that in the shipping container.
Okay, and do you know if a pod that's already loaded can be moved?
I wouldn't know that for sure. No, I'd have to probably talk to a company.
Yeah,
that
I would say
specializes.
yes. I would say yes, you can.
Okay,
Construction wise, we've moved them.
okay,
Just obviously it becomes a weight limit, Ralph.
okay. I just didn't, I was concerned about possibly damaging the contents if it was moved back to the west by 8 feet. The other comment, just general comment, I visited the site yesterday. When you drive in, you don't really notice it at first because of the large, I think there's 4 large spruce trees on the left, on the west side there, that kind of shield it. When you're driving north, you don't notice it, but then when you turn around and come back to the south, you can see the pod. It's underneath, looks like an apple tree or some sort of flowering tree. It's more obvious at that point. Just a observation.
Well, I think staff did a good job of vetting this. With that information, I move to approve the variance with staff's conditions.
Second.
A motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, hearing none, case number 213628 has passed. We will move on to Article 7, which is case number 21-3633. Daniel Verkeek.
Yep. And just real quick, sorry, Valerie, your vote came in a little late. Was that for a approved or denied?
Oh, approved. I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, that's fine. Just want to make sure we got it. Great. On to this next one here. The applicant is requesting a variance to construct an accessory building concurrently with a home at 8934 52nd Street. The variance is to have an accessory building built at the same time as the home, which the township does not typically permit. Township ordinances state that a house has to be 50% complete before an accessory building is able to be constructed. And the applicant has stated that this will, doing it concurrently will help with construction efficiencies, such as pouring the barn floor and approach at the same time as the house garage floor and approach. We have had similar variances that have been granted before when the buildings are built concurrently with the house, when the house is built in a timely manner and a performance bond is provided to the township to ensure that we can remove the building if necessary. So the performance bond is provided to allow the township to remove the accessory building if the property does not come into compliance, and the applicant has been made aware of those requirements. This would be the only approval that the applicant needs to receive, or they can apply for building permits for both buildings. So staff are recommending approval of the variance as requested with the following 3 conditions. The house is at least 50% complete within 1 year, that the applicant provides a performance bond for the removal of the accessory building if the home is not at least 50% complete within 1 year, with the amount of the bond will be a minimum of $10,000. And then third, the bond will be released when the property is in compliance.
Excellent. Is there an applicant that would like to speak?
Yep, just a moment. Are you there?
I'm here.
All right, if we can get a name and an address, please.
Dan Verkuyk. I'm at 8111 Bailey Drive, and I'm the builder contractor for 8934 52nd.
Okay.
It was clear what I'm asking for. I was just wondering, that bond, is it paid after 6 months or 50% complete, or do I pay the bond all the way up front? Is that what's being proposed?
It would be upfront then, and it can either be a kind of performance bond where if the property does not come in compliance, then it would be kind of cashed in, or it can just be a check that is then refunded at the end. But either way would be upfront. and then it'd be released once the property is in compliance.
Okay, so I got to come up with 10 grand with my building permit upon approval of this variance.
Yes.
Okay,
And again, Brian, that's just holding the check, correct? It's not cashing it and putting it in escrow?
We do, we've done both ways before, so it can be kind of a performance bond where, right, we're just holding it, or we've had it where if it's just a check, then it's deposited and we refund them. So it's been done both ways before, I believe.
Does the applicant have a preference to which way they would request that if that's assuming it's
guys-
not a hardship?
my internet connection got unstable when you said that.
Just, Dan, just curious if there's a preference or a need, if it's creates a hardship for the applicant?
I can get the money as soon as I get the permit and I get my first bank draw. I can have the money then.
Okay,
So I'd have to wait till I get that bank draw to pay for the bond.
okay. That can be worked out with staff, correct, Brian?
Yeah, I would think we should be able to.
All right, thank you. Anything else to add, Dan?
No,
right.
that's it.
All right, with that, I will entertain a motion for opening the public hearing.
Move to open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are in open public hearing. Does staff have anyone on the line that wishes to speak?
There is no one present.
All right. Anyone
Brian,
wish
did you
to?
I just received one phone call from a neighbor who just more had general questions. Didn't give me any concerns about the project.
Good, thank you.
All right, thanks.
With that, I move to close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are closed. Back to the board for deliberation.
So I move to, based on staff's recommendations, move to approve the variance with any staff conditions.
We have a motion and a support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. With that, we will move on to article number 8, discussion and consideration of virtual versus in-person hybrid meetings.
Yes, you'll see I've got a short memo there at the end of your packet. The township now has the ability to hold in-person / hybrid meetings at the Wisner Center. The hybrid meeting consists of the board and staff attending in person, but also gives the capability to continue Zoom virtual meetings for residents or applicants who are unable to attend in person. Kent County did extend an emergency order to allow municipalities the ability to continue virtual meetings until June 30. So this was about a month ago, just after the ZBA's last meeting, is when staff were asked to bring this to their various boards and commissions at their next meeting to see how what they like to do to move forward. And then just a couple of weeks ago, actually, there was a meeting with the new township attorney that a few staff members were present for. And in that meeting, it was stated that from the township attorney's perspective, they prefer staying with virtual meetings just because of potential complications with hybrid meetings. Doesn't mean we can't do them, but Steve just wanted me to include that kind of fact in there as well. So at this time, we can do either one's moving forward, but so staff is looking for direction regarding which meeting platform the zoning board of appeals would interested in moving forward with in the short term.
Well, we kind of had this discussion for our Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, and I guess the idea was either all or none. So that was on the Brownfield.
Well, the board meets in person, but our issues are a lot different on the board than on the ZBA. And so I haven't had a problem with us meeting via Zoom, and I think it really encourages and makes it easier for the applicant and the public, that's for sure. And so if we have an extension till June 30th, I don't have a problem doing one more meeting if necessary through Zoom. But I would go either way.
I would concur. I kind of like the Zoom meetings. I think it's been going great so far. I've been vaccinated. If we have in-person meetings, I'm all set.
Yeah, me too.
Why don't we just go another month with the Zoom?
Val, what do you think?
I am fine with Zoom. I've got two little kids outside the door with my mom, so it's,
I-
saves me the 20 minutes of going to the library and back and,
Exactly. All right,
so
well,
that's just the reality of it. I'm happy either way. I really am, but
all right, well, I would say that would be the recommendation of the board here that we continue the Zoom virtual for now until we look at what happens in July.
awesome.
Sounds good.
Thank
All
you.
right.
And thank you for asking.
You bet. Brian, any other business?
Not too much for me, just our next meeting is June 8th. Right now, we don't have, no one's contacted me. There might be one, but they'd have to get that to me by the end of the week probably, so we'll be sure to let you know if we're having that one or not. But nothing
Okay.
besides that.
All right, excellent. Well, with that, we are on to article number 10, the adjournment.
I so move.
Well, second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion support for adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Hey,
Great job,
boy,
Aaron. Keep up the good work, Lou. Good luck.
There we go.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everyone.
Everybody, good night.
Bye, everyone.
Aye.